Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're back in business with a community showdown between General Mimas and Foudroyant. Should be quite a bit of fun. This replay was sent to me titled The Most Haggard Battle Ever, so how could I resist casting this bad boy? And as soon as I saw the armies, it certainly all became clear. So here for the Vampire Coast, it is going to be the triple animated Hulks backed up by the double bloat, I think. So yeah, 2 bloats, 3 Hulks. We have Aranessa. And Aranessa actually has some interesting synergy here, right? Because she does have the Kraken's Bane item. I think it's called Kraken's Bane, and it does give anti-large to nearby characters. So suddenly these Haggard Hulks, which normally are just kind of mediocre, at least do have that anti-large application. So against Black Knights, Blood Knights, monsters, things like that, they're going to be surprisingly more functional if they are close to Aranessa. On the back, we got gunnery mobs, triple deck droppers up in the sky, and looks like it's going to be gunnery white, and yeah, double blow. So pretty wild stuff. Now for the forces of the Vampire Counts, it looks a little bit more traditional aside from the triple corpse cart. So if you just cut like the triple corpse cart and, brought a couple other, chaff units, whatever, it would probably be a little bit more of a standard build. I mean, I guess Vampire Counts have a couple ways of playing this matchup, but in general, who do we have here? It looks like it is going to be a Von Karstein Vampire Lord on foot. And hey, look at that. He does have the Storm of the Night. Man, he is such a cool looking character. That's actually a really, really neat scheme like for a Vampire Count army. Anyways, yeah, he's got Storm of the Night, which is going to be surprisingly useful against characters like Luther Harkin, not bad against Gunbats up in the sky. So if the Gunbats do get caught in standing flat-footed there, he could drop that bad boy on them and then attack them with the Fellbats. So yeah, aside from that triple cart, he does have the Direwolves, double Vargulf to beat down big crabs and monsters like that, bats for backline diving, and of course double Banshee. Double Banshee has always been very strong. As a matter of fact, many Vampire Coast players tech into just bringing the Spiteful Shot to give magic damage to different units to kill the Banshees because they're that much of a menace in this matchup. So here the Gunbats are shooting at the Fellbats. I would imagine Storm of the Night will come out relatively quickly, but the Gunbats have gotten in there, and I love the name here of the Vampire Coast player. It's General Mimas. It's quite classic indeed. And, the build is for sure a meme, but why I really love replays like this, even though they're kind of probably messing around in some respects, obviously they're both trying in regard to the battle applications, is that sometimes you discover like hidden gems. Like, for example, lately in competitive play, I've really been using the Engine of the Gods with the net combo with Mazda Money and winning a fair amount of games, losing games too, but I found that, it does have some teeth, and I never would have explored that if I didn't try it out kind of jokingly first, right? It's a cool way to explore different tactics that are often overlooked by the sweatiest of multiplayer players there. So, bloated corpses. Oh no, the chill guys are not respecting the bloat. Oh, don't do it. Not like this. Oh, that sucks so bad. Oh my god. Now, unfortunately, the other bloat is getting a little bit overexcited, but he comes in just to send a message. And look at that, the invocation attempt coming in from the vampires. Holy shit, how could you not see that? I mean, I guess it's just like the bloats are just, I guess the Vampire Counts are like the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park. If you don't move, you can't see them until it's too late there. But yeah, the bloats do move in. Looks like Fellbats are going after the deck droppers up in the sky. And the animated Hulks have moved into the front line and are bumping and grinding here with the zombies. But yeah, the pistol mob firing line here definitely doing good work. And hands down, the Vampire Coast is in a very dominant position here. But that's not to say that the Vampire Counts can't come back and do better here. They need to get their Dire Pack and their Wolves around the back and start jumping on the gunnery mobs for sure, because they're sitting a little bit idle. It looks like they have been given attack orders here, and now they're going to be moving up. So man, the bloats, I guess they're if you're worried about ethereal ghost knights, you got the bloats, and that is your hard counter. So Spearfisher's not going down as well here from Vampire Coast. Going to be locking down the Vargulfs here. Now the Direwolf's going to be moving up and through the center, looking to dive into the gun line, and here comes one, here comes two, and the other one is going to be jumping. So this is going to be a pretty big disaster here for the Vampire Coast. Pretty much all these gunnery mobs are going to be feasted on. There's also Vargulf back here, and that big Vargulf, of course, is circle beating here on the Vampire Fleet Captain and doing some good damage. The Crab, I think, has 45 speed, so Vargulf should be able to keep pace. So a little bit slow on getting the dogs into action, but in the end, the Vampire Counts here do get the doggos in the proper position and are going to be feasting on the souls here of this gun line as the other Vargulf moves in, receiving that invocation of Nehek that earlier was intended to go here onto the Hex Race. So Von Karstein Lord, I don't know if we've seen Storm of the Night yet. It looks like he's fighting over here, battling the animated Hulks as well as some Zombos. Invocation going down on those animated Hulks as well to keep those bad boys fighting. But man, oh man, that Vampire Coast backline really got feasted on by the Direwolves as well as the Vargulfs. But the triple Gunbats, of course, without any contest in the air, are going to be able to just kind of start ripping shots. But ooh, a big Storm of the Night, and that is doing some big damage, causes major magical damage. Not just magical damage, major, baby. That's really tearing into those deck droppers, one of which is going to crumble into oblivion. The other one is in critical binding, and this bad boy is in good binding. So yeah, for the most part, 2 of them will live, but that was pretty good. Might save the life here of the Vargulf. We will see. Storm of the Night is a really, really cool ability. I remember using that back when it first came out. Quite cool. Don't see it too often, but you know, occasionally if you are playing vampire counts and you know you're facing like an elf who's going to want to cheese you in the skies, it can be something that can surprise your opponent. So we got some doggies back here. The Dire Pack is battling the Vampire Fleet Captain, the Gunnery White, and Araness Assault Spite. The other dogs and Vargulf have moved in to attack the last of the gun line here for Vampire Coast. How are the animated Hulks doing? See, that really is the question. We have probably the most epic duel of all time in the form here of a corpse cart battling the anti-large Hulks. Now these ones don't have Araness's anti-large nearby, so yeah, she's not close enough, obviously, but yeah, it's quite a rumble down there as these zombies do kind of claw their way through, and you can see the Hulk's actually taking some damage here from the corpse cart attacks. That's some serious stuff. Here comes the Direwolves as well from the back line, diving in to help that Von Karstein Vampire Lord. Going to be really interesting to see how this game unfolds. I mean, the Vampire counts are probably going to lose that other Vargulf, but as it usually is with this matchup, the double Banshees really are a big problem. Looks like an attempted Scab's Graith going down there from the Gunnery White here for the Vampire Coast. It does tickle the edge of these zombies. Nothing terribly devastating, but they are down to negative leadership at least, so that is going to crumble them down. Only 100 gold. Honestly, there really aren't any good Scab's Graith targets left. I mean, maybe the Direwolves would have been the best choice. It's hard to say. So this Vargulf being left in combat a little bit too long. This bad boy should kind of be juking and pulling back. Oh, I thought the other Vargulf had died. It looks like, man, the Gunbats have been trying to finish off that one Vampire Gorilla this whole game. But yeah, he could definitely be pulling back and like running over here, sitting in open field, using his regeneration. But another Storm of the Night going down. Here it comes, and that is big, major magical damage against the Death Droppers here. We're reaching a critical mass, and those bad boys are going to be sent to the Shadow Realm. The Vampire Tempest there doing some solid work as the Death Droppers do pay the Troll Toll. Will it save this gorilla? If so, that's pretty big. Honestly, for the Vampire counts, just getting the gorillas back and letting them regenerate, getting an invocation, stabilizing them would be huge, right? Because then you still have the two Banshees, the Von Karstein Vampire Lord's in pretty good shape, and his dueling capabilities aren't bad. He's got Charm Shield, which does give him ward save against all damage types, and he does also have 480 weapon strength. So the Vampire Bloodline Lord certainly very strong, and if I'm not mistaken, it's very much like that in tabletop. Like the Vampire counts are a faction that had pretty terrible units overall with zombies and skeletons as their core. But, you know, I think it was Italian Spartacus who was telling me that the Vampire Count characters and heroes were just insanely, like, powerful characters, right? So they would just carry, which I think is kind of lore-friendly, too. Because in general, like, zombies and skeletons, regardless of what fantasy universe you're in, obviously numbers are threatening, but generally in terms of, like, you know, comparing to, you know, the power level of, like, an orc or something, it's a little bit different. Regardless, Von Karstein Vampire Lord bumping and grinding with the animated Hulks. You see, that's something that could get the Vampires back in this game, despite the fact that they're behind on the balance of power. A lot of the units the Vampire Coast has are just terrible units, like the animated Hulks. Also, the summons are a big part of it. Oh, that's really unfortunate. This Vargulf off in the distance is still crumbling. Despite getting away and kind of salvaging itself, that's a really big loss for sure. If there could be like a single invocation and that thing could be salvaged and heal up to like 1,000 HP, that would be a big problem. Now look at this. The Vargulf is running away from the animated Hulks who do have all hands ahoy, so they're getting in there, man. And 137 weapon strength is still 137. $20 is $20. And this Vargulf is trying to get away as the ammunition from the Death Droppers is unleashed upon it. And the other gorilla coming back in, negative 34 leadership. Can't quite stabilize. Looks like it is going to be just jumping in, trying to get what little damage it can against the animated Hulks. Does it get a model? The Hulks come in. Hulk smash, baby. Oh, I hope I remember that. Definitely this is a Hulk smash game. And another Storm of the Night, I guess it has 3 charges. I always thought it only had 2, but 3 charges on that bad boy. Very, very good stuff if you're expecting air. It does punish those Death Droppers and finally finishes them off, which is going to be buying a massive amount of time for this Vargulf. And there's no way in hell that if the Vampire Count player doesn't want to be caught, I mean, he shouldn't be. 80 speed against 42. I think the fastest unit the Vampire Coast has is the Crab with like 45 right now. And that's smart. Use your Banshees. Banshees have 60 speed. The Vampire Count Banshees should methodically just go after the Vampire Fleet Captain and prison shank these characters. And this is why, despite the Vampires looking and feeling like they're ahead, the Bounce Power Bar doesn't take into account the ethereal status of some of the remaining units, right? So these guys are just going to be hunting, while the Vargulf just kind of cackles and runs around the map. The Vampire Lord here, the Von Karstein Lord, probably should just stand and fight. Let the Banshees kind of stand and do their thing. Maybe try and get him close. Yeah, for things like that. For Undeath Resurgent, to make sure that they're in good shape. It looks like a zombie summon was about to be used over there from the Von Karstein Lord. Couldn't quite tell, but if he's going to use it, he's going to want to use it right on top of himself. The Vampire Gorilla just kind of running around in the Shadow Realm over there, running away from the old animated Hulks, who now are going to be coming back, and it looks like a pistol summon, maybe? Oh, the Vargulf summon! Oh, that's right! The Von Karstein Vampire Lord has a Vargulf summon! Holy shit, man! This is the most haggard game ever! Oh, and look at that! Gaze of Nagash as well! Beautiful stuff there on that Banshee. Takes a ton of damage. But now there's an angry Vargulf, and it is beating the brakes of this Vampire Fleet Captain. It looks like the other Vargulf, who's done kind of an Olympic mile here, is going to be coming back. Where is that thing? Oh man, it's really just off on that hill hanging out here. But yeah, the Vampire Fleet Captain, info on itself. Spearfisher's Net on Aranessa. Oh, look at the MVP net right there. Very beautiful stuff. And going to mitigate the effectiveness of that character. And it looks like Aranessa is just kind of bumping and grinding here with the Von Karstein Lord. And she's got better AP on that crab. And overall is probably a better fighter, considering the armor piercing and her armor values compared to the low AP on the Von Karstein Lord. There's many variables that are going in her favor here. Granted, the vampire counts do get a little summon, and you can never underestimate that whopping 70 melee attack. Double Banshees just kind of shanking down the animated Hulks. That slow roll here. We'll see if they can kind of grind these characters down. But the Banshees certainly are going to be the big X factor. I mean, Vampire Coast to kill them outright. Probably will have to surround them and just kind of break their leadership at some point. So yeah, that Vargolf summon ends up fighting animated Hulks, which is really, really good for Vampire Coast. And 600 HP, 18 leadership. Looks like Aranessa Assault Spite at 1700. Yeah, she's going strong. Definitely, if Aranessa could be healed by Invocation, she might be a more common pick. The fact that she's living and human and can't receive the Lore of Vampire's magic really is one of the reasons why I think you don't see her too often. Because she is kind of snipeable. On the crab, she's a little bit tankier, but often on foot, where you usually see her, right? She's very, very easy to snipe, so... The Vargolf fighting here, it looks like Taunt has gone down. One Banshee is now hot on the tail of that vampire character. And the other Vargolf, I think, is still in the Shadow Realm. Where did it go? Oh, no, here it is. Here's the actual one. Looks like the summoned Vargolf did disappear. And Aranessa took a little bit of damage in the duel here, but the Charm Shield and Undead Resurgent is keeping the Von Karstein Vampire Lord in the fight a little bit longer. But in the end, the saltiest of spites here, Aranessa able to come in with the killing blow and take out that Von Karstein Vampire Lord. That was nice for sure. The little duel of duels, certainly quite fun to see. And with that, Aranessa does pull ahead, but the Banshees still are a big problem, like I said. We still have this Vargolf that is functional, and it's battling the animated Hulks. Very curious, actually, to see the value these Hulks have got. Ooh, the Gaze of Nagash, too. I mean, that is one way to really kill the Banshees. You saw the first one actually took that Banshee down to like half health, but it looks like that one was a little bit unfortunate. So we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding here, as it is very much an undead grind. And again, I'd like some feedback on that. If you guys don't mind a little bit of fast forwarding when it's a foregone conclusion like this, yeah, now you can see the army losses are coming in and this other Banshee is going to be going down. What a back and forth game. And I think that might be a candidate for one of the more haggard games we've had on the channel. In a good way, though. That was really fun to watch. Despite, a little bit of delays on certain engagements and letting the chill guys kind of get nuked by the bloats. That was great. And it was very fun to watch. 1600 value on this one bloat. Holy shit. That might be a record for a bloaty boy that I've seen in an actual battle. In 800, 1,000, 800. Wow, these bloats they're really trying to sell themselves here. They really, really are. And yeah, amazing value on these guys. Yeah, the build obviously was quite interesting. Not optimized by any stretch of the imagination, but with some great gamesmanship here, he was able to make it work with some of these guys. But, that is something to kind of chew on, right? Like Aranessa on Crab with anti-large, with the giving anti-large to Hulks and other Crab characters. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's something to kind of digest about this matchup. So big thanks to General Mimas and Foudroyant here for sending in the replay. I don't remember who sent it in, but... And yeah, for Foudroyant here, the build was, probably go a little bit lighter on the corpse cards. Just, bring one maybe. And from there, get a couple more chaff units, whatever. Scurvy Dogs and Vargolfs are all fine. The build was good. I think the dogs needed to be attacking earlier. Because, the Fellbats all died for no reason, really. If the dogs had been surrounding that gun line right away and then the bats had gone in, all the gun bats would have died, the whole gun line would have died, and I guarantee Foudroyant would have won that game. Based on armies, this one should have won if they had just kind of played equally. But yeah, it was good. Storm of the Night was fun. He scrapped back in the game, with a cool Vargolf summon here and there, just little things. It was really, really fun to watch for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and thanks again for sending in the replay, and hopefully you enjoyed the double bloat. Some wild times we're living in, that's for sure, 2021. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.